everybody knows everybody that's on the call. And so for those of you that don't know me, I'm Kirt Stevens. I'm the Director of Sales now for the Ginger Baxter Group. And I get to moderate today. And so basically all that means is I'm going to ask questions of Diane and Tanya, and let the group ask questions too. But we're really focusing on scripts, yes, but especially around our SOI. And so how can we really target our SOI? And both of the ladies here have super successful businesses and different backgrounds, but also, you know, wonderful women leaders. And so, you know, I'd love for you both, maybe Tanya, you can go first, and then Diane follow up. Just talk to us a little bit about your path to Keller Williams North and what it's looked like. What's your journey so far looked like? How many years of experience? What's your goal this year? Those types of things.
Yeah, I can start. So I have been a CPA for 30 years, and my sister and I initially got our licenses back in the 90s when we graduated from college, and we did it as a team back then, kind of part-time, dual career. And then we both got married and had kids, so we stopped doing it because it was our side thing, right? And then in 2014, I was the CFO at Network 180, and they did some downsizing, and I said, you know what, at this point in my life, I want to do what I love and what I really want to do. And what I wanted to do was to become an entrepreneur, because my ex-husband and I had owned businesses before, and I just loved that. I loved to get up every day and do what I was doing. So I took the pre-licensing class, got back into real estate full time in 2015, and I was with Coldwell Banker. After that first year, I had about 5 people come to me to say, I want to get my real estate license and I want to be a part of your team. I didn't know what I didn't know, so I just said yes, because I like to help people. And the next year, I had a team of five agents without an assistant, and in 2016. So we were at Coldwell Banker just plugging along, figuring it out, and I just felt like I was figuring it out on my own. I love the company, love the brand, but because they didn't have a lot of teams, I felt like I was figuring it out on my own. Then I had the opportunity to meet Lisa Costanza through a referral from a former Coldwell Banker agent and someone else that I knew who was at KW East, and just fell in love with the culture, went to the business planning clinic and said, oh my gosh, this is what you guys are getting. I need this in my business. So fast forward, I came to KW North in February of 2017 with my 5 or 6 agents at the time. And we've been there ever since. We've grown our business exponentially. This year, our goal was 20 million closed volume, 100 units. We're a little bit behind that pace, but we will exceed our best year ever, which was 13. So we'll do maybe 15, 16 this year, but we're getting things under contract in the last few weeks. If we keep that going, we may actually. So it's been a great experience being a part of the KW family, just the training, the education, the technology, the people. That's really what I love the most. I say every week, I just thank God for Ed Hansen. He's not on the call, but maybe he'll read this, but I'm like, we have the best broker ever. And, I just don't take that for granted. So I love being a part of the KW community, and I appreciate the opportunity to present on this panel.
So you guys are set up to have your best year ever amidst a pandemic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
and
awesome.
Everything to do with the people that we hang around, the energy, the information that we get. I had a COVID slump where I was like, woe is me for about a month and didn't know what to do in this new reality. But then I saw people around me like Jim Blim and Sherry and Ginger who were killing it, like having their best year ever as well. And I was like, okay, so the problem is me, there's business to be had. And since I shifted that mindset, our team has just been going gangbusters. So
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. So Diane, tell us a little bit about your story. It's never it's not one that we tire of hearing. So
I was going to say, you probably all are tired of hearing it. But anyway.
no, we enjoy hearing it. And you know what? Some people may not have heard it. So
Yeah, that's fair. So let's see. I sort of like Tanya was saying, I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. I love building businesses. I've built a lot of them and a whole variety of different kinds. And 15 and a half years ago now, it was my mom. She kept telling me, she's like, you should be in real estate. And so I finally made the jump. And yeah, I started in February of 2005. And yeah, I started as an individual agent, helping people buy and sell houses. And I was just looking at the numbers. My first year, I did 10 million by myself in 11 months. I sold 25 houses in 11 months my first year. And it was great. I was rookie of the year and all the things. And
yeah.
But I started then building my team. So over the years, I've had a team with as many as 18 people on it. Wow. And when that was happening, we were doing 65 million in volume, 365 houses, one a day. And that was an amazing business. And that business enabled me to leverage myself out of it for a while to have the opportunity to go build other businesses. So that afforded me the opportunity to buy the KW North Market Center. I started the Leeds Market Center in England. I'm still the OP there. I'd opened the opportunity to invest in Keller Williams Poland and Keller Williams Belize. And then Keller Williams Worldwide came to me 4.5 years ago now, 4 years.
So when you need a team leader in Belize, let us know. Because some of us might be thinking about that February.
Exactly. So I came in as OP of the UK for 3 years. It was the hardest 3 years of my life. I traveled back and forth, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off for those 3 years. But now I have the right team in place, and I've moved up over to chairman of the board of the UK. So I have fewer responsibilities. As you know, I'm no longer OP of the North Market Center, but I still have all my same primary investor shares and very active. And then I just say, so I'm also a MAPS coach. I had the opportunity for that. And I'm also Keller Williams University Master Faculty. So certified to teach a lot of the classes around the world, which is kind of fun. So yeah, I've only ever been with Keller Williams in real estate. Right. So that's been my experience. I feel like I've really taken advantage of lots of the opportunities that the company has to offer. And I love that piece. As far as my business goes, I'd say 2 years ago, I implemented what I call Operation Simplify. So my world had gotten really big and really complicated. And when you have businesses in 5 countries, and I have 19 businesses right now, so it's a lot. It's a lot, and it just goes way too complicated. So I was like, Operation Simplify, and that's really what's been happening. So part of Operation Simplify was moving from OP to chairman of the board in the UK. Part of that was selling my big house and getting a little house that's really easy to manage and affordable. Part of it was I just sold a huge piece of my art collection because I just have too many things. And then also part of that is just really figuring out what to say no to, right? Because every time we say yes, we're saying no to something else. So I really needed to decide by saying yes to things what I was saying no to. And quite frankly, all the yeses I had said over the years meant I had said no to health and family and friends and things that are really, really important. So I made the list of things I could eliminate so that I allowed time for life to be better again. So it's really great. So, and part of that was deciding not to have a team anymore.
Okay.
I mean, I loved having a team. I loved building it. I loved watching all the people grow and teaching so many people how to be great agents. I feel like our community is better because of all of the agents that have been through Griffin Properties, education, training, the mentoring, the shadowing, all the stuff. But now it's just me. I'm an individual agent. Kendall obviously is my right hand. She's been with me for 7 years. And I just figured out what I need to do. I know how many houses I need to sell per month to make the money I need to make to live the life I want to live.
So what's your goal? What's your goal this year, Diane? Because your business is different than it's been. What do you want to accomplish this year?
Yeah, well, it's fascinating because I basically just got back into real estate in July as helping people buy and sell. So I've been helping people now for July and August. So, and we'll do, my GCI in September will be 65,000. So
Nice.
to get that up in a month and a half, 2 months has been, I feel really excited about that. My goal is to sell 4 to 5 houses a month.
Okay.
That looks to us like about 20 million in volume, which doesn't seem too crazy. I mean, the funny part is for me to do 10 million in volume, my first year in real estate meant 25 houses. That same volume means, or that same volume now means I just have to sell 12 and a half houses. So if I stick with my 25 houses, I'll do 20 million, 25 million in volume. And I know I can sell 4 to 5 houses a month myself with somebody, with one assistant. And the thing that's, for me, it's been a teeter-totter because I put so much time and money into the UK and there's no return for a long time on that, but it's just starting to happen. And the more that happens, the less I'll need to, the less pressure I have to sell so many houses each month. So that teeter-totter is happening, and all of that simplification over the last few years is showing up.
Nice.
Yeah. So
probably,
short answer
probably
is
helps a little with the stress too, right? Maybe it helps lower the stress a little. Nice.
So much better. I'm having so much. The other thing it does is it has rejuvenated my energy.
Good.
I have never been so excited to help people buy and sell houses than I have since my first year. I mean, I got to a point where I was like, if I have to see another house again, you know, and that's not really the way you want to live. But now I'm like, you want to go? Let's go. I want to, like, it. I'm addicted to it and I'm so happy about it. And your clients can feel when you're that excited about what you're doing. So it's really changed the trajectory of my emotional state as well as financial and I'd say mental freedom, you know, just space. I have more thinking time than I've had in many, many years, and I'm enjoying that.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this question when it comes to SOI. What percentage of your business right now, and it doesn't have to be the exact numbers, but what percentage would you say of your business right now comes from your sphere of influence? Tanya, I don't know if you can go first again, but
yeah, I would dare say anywhere between 65 and 70% of our business comes from our sphere of influence. And what I see that's, you know, past clients, referrals, and people in our database. I mean, that's where our business comes from. People who know us, like us, or trust us, or have friends who know us, like us, or trust us, and trust us enough to refer their, you know, people to us. So we get a lot of our business that way.
Great.
I have a
Diane,
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long did it take for you to build up that SOI to the point where you were getting that percentage?
You know what? Because I was at a different company who didn't teach me how to lead generate other ways, that's all I had, right? So when I jumped back into the real estate business in 2015, it was let everybody know that I'm in this business and figure out who's possibly going to sell. And that's always been my number one strategy and priority is people that I knew who would do business with me.
Let me follow up on that question. So you said you let everybody know. How did you do that? Was that face-to-face? Was that picking up phones? Was that sending out messages? What did you do to communicate to everybody?
Yeah, in that first year, I, like Diane, I sold 23 units in my first year, but I didn't do 10 million because I was splitting way too much with my company. But I sent out letters, I called people, I used social media a lot, Facebook, and a lot to just connect with people. So that was my primary strategy. Also, like, I'm involved in some community social organizations. Like, I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha. I'm a life member, been a part of that sorority forever. And we have 100 members here locally. So through church, through groups that I belong to. That's kind of what I use to get the word out.
Nice. Diane, how about you? What percentage would you say is SOI or past clients? What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, it's fascinating. My first years in the business, my 93% of my business came from repeat and referral. So that was my really only, I didn't do any lead gen of any kind other than talking to people. And I didn't, and going to open houses, doing open houses. And, if I didn't have a listing, I just used somebody else's listing. And I was doing 2 to 4 open houses a week, right? I'd find vacant houses, I'd call the agent that was in a good location. I'd put my sign out. I didn't advertise or anything. I was just, if I'm to be working from somewhere, I might as well be working from a house where somebody might come in who wants to buy a house. So that made a lot of sense to me. So when I got into real estate, I didn't have any money. I had enough money to live for 3 months. So I had to hit it, and I didn't have any money to spend on getting business in any way. So for me, it was all sphere, and it was all about courage to ask. Everywhere I went, I asked for business. Okay. Everywhere. And I'm not afraid to ask for it. And that was great. But then I'll tell you, what I didn't do well is teach my agents on my team how to ask for business. And so still our sphere and things were coming from me. But when I basically went away for 3 years, I'm not at all the functions, and I can't be on the boards, and I'm not doing the things that were bringing the leads in. And our ratio really went down. So it got to the point where our repeat referral was down to 38%. Okay. And I was like, what's going on? And so now talk about basic, like I said, I got back in, call it 2 months ago. And I just started doing exactly what I did before. I just day one in real estate, I'm doing exactly what I did before. And Kendall just sent me the numbers of the business we have since I've been back in, and in our pipeline, it's back up to 90, it's not quite, it's 92%. Nice. So yeah, so for me, it's that. And then the other things that really helped generate business early on, and I'm doing again, is that my whole thing has always been go small to get big. So I would only help people buy and sell houses in a 3-mile radius. And then eventually it was 5 miles and then 7 miles. But so I let my for sale signs do the talking, right? So if I'm only taking listings in this area, then people would be like, I see your signs everywhere. And I'm like, well, yeah, I know where you live, right? Because that's the only place my signs are. But they were telling the story, and so I didn't have to spend money. Then when I finally spent money, the only thing I spent money on are these my little Griffin Properties pens, and everybody loves them. They write well and they're cheap, and so we bundle them up like 10, 15 pens. And every time I go into a restaurant, I hand them the bundle of pens. At the grocery store, the laundromat, the dry cleaner, the whatever, and then these do the talking. And so I've leveraged out those things, but that's really where almost all of my business has come. And now I'd get a lot of referrals from agents from out of state that have incoming people.
Well, I'm going to back you up just a little bit here. So you said something. You said you realized that you could have done a better job teaching your team how to ask for business. And so you've got 8 other people on this call right now that want you to teach us how to ask for business. So how do we do that? What do we say when we're out? What do we say when we're with our friends? How do we start that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record with my friends right now, but I don't really care. I think it's just like we say with other types of things, right? You can't tell your spouse you love them once. You got to keep telling them so that they remember and that they believe you and that they don't think you've changed your mind. So I just had it last night. One of my past clients and friends, Bob, we were out, and I just said, hey, I wanted to give you an update. I wanted you to know that I am full on back in my business and helping people buy and sell houses, and I'm having the time of my life. It is going so well, and it's so exciting, and I'm really re-energized. And I just want to remind you that I'm here to help anybody you know. Who do you know? And they just stop and they're like, that's really exciting. But I just say, who do you know? And I don't always do buy, sell, invest. I'm just like, who do you know? who I can help. And then I also remind them that this can happen anywhere in the world, that I'm doing referrals all over the place. So that's it. It wasn't
Right.
nothing complicated.
It's not rocket science. It's asking. And from my experience, when I've taken the time to ask those questions, whether it's in person, whether it's on Facebook Messenger, whatever it is, I don't always see it right then, but sometimes it'll be a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, that person that I had that specific conversation with either comes back to me with somebody that they know that needs my help, or they suddenly need my help and they remember that conversation. Are your guys' experience similar?
Oh yeah, because sometimes they might not be able to think of somebody right then, but because they genuinely care about you and your fit, how you're doing, definitely, they refer people back to me. Like I have some people that I would call my VIP clients. There are probably about 10 to 15 people now that I know that if anybody needs anything real estate related, that they're going to refer them to me. And I try to take care of those people. Like one of them has a hair salon. So I go there right now. I'm in these braids, but I go there and get my hair done on a regular basis. I try to support her. I help her to buy and sell a house this year. I'm helping the people that she refers to me to buy and sell homes, but I'm supporting them too and promoting their business on social media when I can. Things like that, just little things to let people know that you care about them, and it's not all about you and your business, but I care about you and you're helping your family and friends and stuff like that.
You're really great at amplifying your people, Tanya. I'm constantly impressed. You do that and I'm like, duh, I should do that. Why don't I do that? It's really tasteful and genuine.
Yeah, and I had a brief conversation with Brenda Pratt the other day. She's like, I'm all about gaining experiences versus giving people things. And I'm like, you know what? I am that way too. I just, just natural to me to just try to, let people know how much we value them.
That's right. Well, and I think that whole, the reality of successful business through a high percentage of sphere referrals and repeat has everything to do with that. It has to be the experience, and not everybody is customer focused. There are, the Jeff Glovers that are turn and burn, right? Instead of maintaining a relationship, they'd rather get a new one, and that's their style. So I think understanding what your style is and why you matter and how that relates to your business is huge.
Yeah. So when you talk to somebody, maybe it's a sorority sister or it's someone else, I know one lead source right now that people are using in the area, and they're paying 30% referral fees on top of whatever the gross commission is. And so when you do this SOI, what's your investment? Is there any like big investment that you're making to do that?
For me, like for referrals, we have a policy of giving a gift card, like a $50 gift card for a referral that closes. So I had a friend from high school. We weren't super close, but I knew her and her sister. And so we just listed her dad's house and helped her dad to find a condo. So that's a, $12,000 commission. And we're going to send a gift card to that client for sending that referral. And she'll continue to send us business because we got them. And I do also do Cutco gifts, but just to let people know that you appreciate them for their referral.
Hey, Tanya, I have a question. It's Heather. I've been told that we're not allowed to do that. Is that true? Was I informed incorrectly?
You have to be careful. RESPA, if you're giving something away to somebody for their business, then that's when you run into it. So if my friend wants to use me and I'm telling him, I'm going to pay you back this much, that's when you get in trouble. That's RESPA coming out. Am I saying that right?
That's right. And there are dollar limits depending on category. So, you could do $25 gift cards and be able to write that off as cost of doing business. If you did a $50 gift card, you can only write $25 off. So, you know, there are some rules around that. It can't be used as a bribe or a trade. It can be a thank you. And I think consistent thank yous is, I mean, if everybody's getting $25 gift card and then somebody gets, you know, a new car, then maybe there's some inequity. Like there's something else going on here.
Right.
I want that commission if I can afford to give somebody a new car.
Yeah,
I know, right?
exactly.
I have one of my coaching clients, she's in California, and her average price point is 8 million, I think, 8 or 10 million. At any rate, she was like, yeah, one of my clients as a bonus for me getting $1 million over list on their house was like 40 hours of net jet. So she can fly wherever she wants for 40 hours over 2 years or something as
like
a
chasing sunsets, right?
yeah, but that was just as a thank you to her. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. To the agent, that's even better, right?
Right. Right. So tell me, what do you guys use to systematize being in touch with your SOI? What systems are you using? Because obviously there's that, I don't want to say generic, but there's that earthy where whenever we run into somebody, we have a conversation, we remind them that we're in real estate. But it's the agents that can systematize it that really see it pay off. So how are you doing that, Diane?
Oh, what we're doing now, our system has gotten really simple. There's a theme. So right now what we have is Kendall every day sends me an email. Let's see if I don't know where it is. Anyway, every day Kendall sends me an email and it outlines what the day looks like. It starts out by saying, here's what's been done. And then it goes on to say, here's what I'm doing today. And it's marked with what her priorities are. Here's what I need from you to complete my list. And here's what you should be doing today. So she bosses me around. That works out perfectly. And she keeps track of all the things. And so then she does this. I have this pipeline essentially that's color coded. She updates this every day too. And it just goes through like what's active, what's pending, who the prospects are, what the next steps are. And then on the bottom here, it also has the referrals. These are incoming referrals and then outgoing referrals that we get, you know, percentages on. And I have in my calendar for 2 hours every Friday to follow up. So I be sure I've touched base with all the people on the pipeline every week. And then I give Kendall the updates and she keeps the thing. And I just do what she says, essentially.
So you have your system, a lot of it leans on Kendall right now, as far as her doing those. So somebody that doesn't have a Kendall, right? What should they do? How should they focus or systematize that?
So, I mean, what Gary Keller has always told us is use whatever system that you will use. Just what works for you is what you should do. And that's going to be different for everybody. I love to look at something like this. I love to see the spreadsheet. I love that it's color coordinated. I hate doing it. You want to see what mine looks like? It's like this. I write it all down. I'm a heavy paper person. If you tell me one more thing than a damn Google Drive, I'll scream. Like it's not how I work. So I don't use it. And if somebody says it's in the Google Drive, I say, you got to send it to me some other way because I'm not going to be able to find it like that. So, and when Gary Keller talks about, he used to do like back in the day, he just had, you know, one file folder for every day of the year. And, you know, January, the 1st through the 31st, February, the 1st through the 28th. And every client had a single piece of paper and he'd just write the note, put it in the file. When do I follow up? In a month. Okay, then I'm going to put it in 2 weeks because I always follow up half less the time than I tell them I'm going to.
Right.
Then when it's the day, oh, what's today? It's September 15th. What do? I pull out, oh, if that works for you, that works for you. If you're a spreadsheet nut, make a spreadsheet. If you need to write it down, write it down. And I know we have lots of systems and I know Command is great and Brevity is great and all the things are great if you use them. If not, do what you're going to use, because we spend a lot of time avoiding things that don't feel good to us. Now we have to embrace some of those things, obviously. I mean, I've really delved into command and I understand how it works, and I've been doing Facebook things. It's not my first, but I understand I need to. So I'm doing that.
Right.
But not a lot. I'm spending most of the time doing what's most comfortable for me and a little bit of time learning what's uncomfortable so that I keep improving my repertoire.
Perfect. Tanya, how about you? What's a system that you use, or how would you recommend somebody that doesn't have an awesome Kendall helping them
Well, I have a Parker, so
Yeah.
We're bad examples.
No, I'm going to help people with it, but go ahead.
so I have a Parker, and I'm horrible with systems. Like when I started my team, I had nothing documented. Like I just know how to do I know how to do this business. I've learned over time. So he's come in and helped to systematize things, but like, and we're nowhere near where we need to be. Trust me.
Sure.
But I'm using command more. We've set up the VIP group for my people that I just have to stay in touch with. He has a smart plan set up, so it'll give me an alert we have, a call, a text, an email. They get a neighborhood snapshot so that they know what's going on in their neighborhood. If we have birthdays in there, it'll send a birthday message or something. But those are things that are automated. But I found that really what works best with my sphere is just connecting. And even if it's just shooting them a quick text, hey, I was thinking about you, how you doing? Or if it's sending them a message on Facebook, or tagging something or liking something that they posted to Facebook, that's happening in their lives. That's the kind of things that work for me. I have a planner that I don't use the way I should, but I have a planner that I need to figure out how to live by a little bit better. But, I'm a paper person, so I have paper all over the place. But it really is about connections. However you, like to Diane's, some people like to write personal notes. Some people like to pick up the phone. Some people like to do it via text. Some people like to do the social media stuff. But it's just whatever works for you to make people feel connected with you.
Something I did, which was I did also my first year, but back to the basics is, and this is Kendall pushing me. She's like, I need you to make a list of the 100 people that are in your sphere that you're willing to make constant connection with. So my agreement with her is that I connect in some way with 5 people a day out of my 100. And
Wait, you said 100. Don't you mean 1,000 or 500, 900, somewhere like there?
20 million? Nope.
No,
100.
100. And you
100.
said you've boiled it down to 5 a day.
5 a day. And like Tanya said, it's a text, it's a comment, it's a phone call, it's a coffee. I mean, some of it's in person, some of it's, but I know by connecting with 5 people per day that will generate enough business for me to have 5 closings per month.
So 5 conversations with your closest friends,
Mm-hmm.
your people you respect the most,
Mm-hmm.
lets you have 4 to 5 closings a month.
That's right.
So you've boiled it down. You figured out what that is. One of the other things I want to...
How easy? 5 a day. If you can't talk to 5 people a day, then that's a problem. But I bet most of our agents don't talk to 5 people a day.
So
but
now,
5 a day, that's not much.
Here's the next question. And Diane, you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but now let's figure out how much do you get paid for those 5 conversations a day, right? If that was an hourly rate, or if that was a per, we're talking thousands of dollars to talk to 5 people each conversation, right?
Yeah, my GCI, my income for September is $65,000. And I'm making $65,000 by talking to 5 people per day. Now that doesn't include my expenses, but I've gotten my expenses down to $20,000 per month. So 40,000 profit in a month is, I'll take it. And I didn't spend any money. I spent no money.
Right. Well, and there's the other piece of this too that I think sometimes we miss is that you can have a system that's in place, right? You can have a behavior that you need to do, like the 5 conversations. But where those things really get powerful is when it becomes a habit. So how many days in a row would you say you've been either answering Kendall's email and doing the things on that,
Mhm.
or having your 5 conversations? How habitualized is that for you now?
Yeah, that's every day. That's a non-negotiable.
A non-negotiable. What does that mean?
That means that I'm committed to my goal. If hitting my goal is really, really important to me for lots of reasons, but it is I'm so committed to my goal and I know what I need to do to hit it, that I'm not going to do the work. If I had to talk to 100 people a day or make 1,000 calls or whatever, I wouldn't do it because the activity would be so overwhelming to get to the result I need. So for me, I needed to simplify the most direct route from activity to result. And that's with people I know. And I'm not afraid to ask. Some people are like, oh, I don't want to ask the people I know. I'm like, they want to help you, right? They want to see you succeed. And if we can get our head around that, but yeah, I just do it. I get up every morning. I see what's new on the market. That's often the way I connect with people. Cause I'm like, even if like one of my friends has some investment property, she's not looking, but I found one yesterday. And I was like, I found one for you. Are you ready to buy something? And she's like, actually I am. I met her yesterday. We're writing an offer. Kendall's writing an offer right now. And,
Nice.
but
you were looking, right?
I was looking, I look every morning. That's what I do. I get up, I make my tea, I check my bank account, and then I start looking to see what's new. And as I look at houses, I think, I just thought of Pam. I hadn't even thought of Pam. She is on my Sphere list. So now I've connected with a Sphere person. It worked. I was able to do my spiel. Who else do you know who I can help? I'm helping people right now. Who else? And it just makes it really simple and it doesn't feel taxing. It seems easy.
Yeah. Trish asked, what do you say to people you chat with every day? Do you ask if they know anyone who's thinking of selling or buying? What's your dialogue? And I know for me, Trish, a lot of times it's just that simple reminder that, hey, I know I tell you, I say this a lot, but just to remind you, I'm in real estate and I love helping people. Mm-hmm. And so if you have anybody that I could help, I'm always looking for more people I can help. Tanya, what about you? What do you say?
Yeah, that's my line too. It's first, hey, how you doing? What's new in your world? And then, hey, who do you know that I can help? Sometimes I use the competition script. Hey, we're doing this competition and I like to win because all my people know I like to win competitions. Then it's, hey, who do you know that might be in the market to buy or sell in the next year or two that I can reach out to? Mm-hmm. And they think of people.
So
go ahead.
I was just going to add to that. I do the same. I like that competition one. So I have like 4 different ones and I just rotate them around. And some of them are, like I was saying earlier, like I'm back in, I'm actually helping buyers and sellers both. So there's that one. There's one where, hey, I ran into you the other day. I mentioned that this happened. I just want to remind you and see if you thought of anybody between now and then. And then the other one I have, which is more personal, but there are some people in that time that I was traveling so much that I didn't keep in touch with as much as I would have liked or had in the past. So I have one that's an apology, hey, I realize this happened. Reflection is lovely, but it can't undo that. So I just want you to know, here are a couple of the changes I've made and I'm getting amazing result. And I just want you to know that, I've appreciated your referrals in the past and I'm still here. So it's those. It just depends on the level of connection and then how often you talk to them for me.
Yeah. And when it's 5 conversations with people, it's different, right? So how do you pick the 5, or does Kendall pick that for you? How do you know who the 5 are?
It changes with the person. I just look at my list of 100, decide who I'm going to connect with that day and just feel what the relationship is. What's the last time I talked to them? What's new? But it's very short. I'm not trying to carry on a lengthy conversation or 10 text exchanges. I just want to say, hey, have a great day. Remember, I'm here. See you later. Yeah. And because they really don't want you to take up time as well.
Right.
There are the other list that is a good one. And honestly, they're overlapped. But when you have the 100 that are Sphere and, people who are wanting you to have a big life, some of those people have been repeat referrers in the past. And if it's okay to have 2 lists, just like, here are my friends, but here are people who have consistently given me referrals, whether it's the hair person or the church people, whoever that is.
Right.
But they've already done it and they've had a good experience, so they're almost easier to ask.
Absolutely. I know, if you haven't seen I believe it's the Never Ending Referrals in the DTD2s. DTD2 stands for Do the Database 2. And basically it's 2 letters of the alphabet that are divided up into each week. And so 4 times a year you go through the entire alphabet and you just call the people with the last name or first name, however you got your phone organized, or your Facebook, right? But you call those people and you just check in. You just say hi. You don't have to ask for business. If it's been a long time since you've talked to those people, I wouldn't. I would just say, hey, it's been a long time. I just wanted to see what was going on in your life. And you know what? When you ask somebody, hey, now last I knew you were working so-and-so or doing such and such, is that still the case? They're gonna say, yep, that's what I'm doing. And then the next question they're gonna ask is, how about you? Are you still in real estate, or are you still doing this? And so it's a great script. It's small, but it's a great way to encourage that conversation without asking it directly. What are you doing? Are you still working so-and-so? And then they'll usually reciprocate with the same question to you.
Yeah.
Tanya, how about you? What are some of the ways that you pick who you're going to talk to today?
Yeah, it's usually like if I've seen something happening in their life on social media, because I feel like I'm always on Facebook or Twitter. So if something's happening in somebody's life, I might check in with those people as a priority. Or if somebody has told me, that somebody might be ready down the road, I might circle back. Or, if I've heard of someone who's going to do business and I know someone who knows them, it's making those connections so that they'll remember to remind that person to reach out to me. Somebody who I may not know, but somebody else in my sphere knows. I just rely on those kind of relationships. And like Diane said, it's important to keep it simple. Like, I was failing miserably, and still I fail every day. But like, I would say I have to lead generate 2 hours a day, or the day was not a success. And then I figured out I wasn't doing it half the time, but I was still having a great success. So I'm like, so that's not a habit. It's too big, It's like Diane said, keeping it simple. Make sure you talk to 5 to 10 people every day, and your business is gonna be where it needs to be. So
if you're not talking to anybody in your sphere and you start with 2 people a day, 2 people, that's 10 people that week that you've talked to that you didn't talk to the week before. And so that might be enough to get the habit started for you to start to do it consistently. I'm going to share my screen real quick because I've got command up here, and I'm being transparent here. Everybody see that?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the nice things about command is when you do talk to somebody and they tell you that they want to do something, you can remind yourself to do that. So I've got someone here. If you guys know Crystal Jarrell, leave her alone. Okay. But she said she wanted to buy next year, told me that. And so I need to follow up with her. You can see I'm just a day past due on this. So it's not like it's critical that I have that. But I write myself a note in these that I know. And so this shows up for me, it shows what's past due, but it also shows what's due today. And so if you're one of those people that you take your notes on there and you can use Command has a great system in place to help you be organized and to tell you. It can do what Kendall does for Diane for you. You just have to feed it the information. So when you have those conversations, you save it, you save a task, and those are some things to do. So I just wanted to show people that that's one of the options that's out there, okay?
yeah, can you click on her so that you can show them how simple it is to just leave a note? Or
I don't know if I want to, because then you'll see your phone number.
Oh, family.
I'm teasing.
I promise.
Yeah, so here she is. here's her email, but all I do really is go over here to where it says add activity or task, and I can click add a task. I can name the task. And so let's say she told me that in November, she's going to list her house for sale. I would put something, for me, it's like this: call now to list house. So that when I see that come up in there, I'm like, okay, this is super important. So maybe I'll put an A in it on the end of it, that it's an A priority, a B if it's not. If it's credit repair for somebody's working on their credit repair, I usually only categorize those as a C. And it's like, just check in. And I know if I see that one and I can't do it today, then I can just go into here and I can reschedule it. Let's just bump that out a week and put it out here for a week. So I don't know if that helps or not, but.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. So,
Really simple.
Yep. All right. What are some other questions you guys have for us? We've been on here for about 50 minutes. Any other questions anybody has for Diane or Tanya or myself?
Diane, where do you order your pens from that are cheap and they work great?
I have no idea, but someone does.
Kendall will know.
Kendall would know. You can email Kendall. She'll tell you.
Perfect.
Yeah. It became a game almost. People will send me selfies with their pen, like with my pen, and like, guess where I am? I'm like, I don't know. But it's like a lost and found or a scavenger hunt or something. It turned into a life of its own, and it works. So I go with it.
So I have a question about that now that you say that.
Mhm.
Could you do a game like that? Like post something on Facebook like, hey, I'm going to be dropping my pens randomly around Grand Rapids. If you post a picture to my Facebook page with a pen, you'll receive like a $10 Starbucks gift card or something? Or
Hey, you can't give them money, but you can put them in for a drawing, and the prize can be provided by someone other than you.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I would be careful of that, but because I try to do the same thing. I try to do a gift card for just making my people update their contact information, and that might be borderline. So it's better to have some gifts that you get.
And
Someone else.
waitresses are always looking for pens. If you know anybody that waits tables anywhere, if you have a favorite restaurant, you can drop off bags of pens to them and they will use them. And you know what always happens to the good ones? They get stolen, which means they're out there even
That's right.
more. So
It was a joke. I'd walk into a restaurant and the servers would try to get to me first. Just like, did you bring pens? They're mine. And you back off, and they'd like put them all in their pocket. I'm like, you've got to share the pens. You know, they're like, well, come back with more. But it was real. Yeah, I mean, they love them.
yeah, absolutely. Especially one that writes well.
That's right.
Anyone else? Other questions? Trish, did you have a question? I see you're unmuted.
Well, I just thank you for this information, gals. This is really great stuff. And it's nothing I don't know, right? It's all what I know. And I just don't know why I don't call my PC more. I call them PC, personal connections.
Mhm.
And just listening to you guys it just says, hey, I got to do this. I got it. Five calls a day with the expireds that I call and for sale by owners. I get more for sale by owners than expireds. Expireds are not even picking up their phones anymore.
Mhm.
I send texts, I send this, I don't get anything from them. And I'm just getting really tired of calling them at this point. So
you think about it right now in this market, is limited as the inventory is. If your house didn't sell, it almost has to be grossly overpriced. And do you want to be reminded of that? That's what I think people are. And I'm not saying don't call them,
Mhm.
but it's definitely going to be a harder conversation than it's ever been because of everyone thinks their house is going to sell.
Right, exactly. So, but just calling 5 people seems so simple because I call hundreds a week.
I know.
And I just never had any of my friends give me referrals. So I figure, well, they don't have anybody. But is that the right thinking? No.
Oh, there was some statistic that came out about the database. It was like, for every 10 people in your database, those 10 people give a total of like 5 leads out per year or something crazy. I mean, it's like
the one I heard that's connected to that is that for every one person you know, they know 4 people that are going to buy or sell a house this year.
That's it.
So
That's
they
the
may not know them well enough that they can help you connect with them, but in today, or not today, this year, 4 people will buy or sell a house. So that's crazy when you think about that.
Right. So if you're talking to your 100 people
Mhm.
and you do 5 a day, and every one of those is going to have 3 people in a year, you don't have to call anyone else. That's enough.
So you get one of those 3 people, right? You know, that's hundreds
Yeah.
of things there. So this is a great question too, and we've only got 5 minutes, but I think we can keep going a little over if people still want to engage. What stops us from calling our database, right? So Trish brought it up. It's a great thing. What keeps us from calling or talking to those people that we know we need to?
Rejection.
Yeah.
Action.
Yeah. But, you know, if you're coming from a place of help, a place of love, you're like, I don't want my friends to end up with a weak agent.
Right.
And I don't want my friends working with somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. So I'm helping them, right? And helping their people that they love to make sure that they have a great deal. So it's a mindset thing for sure. But now that you're coming from a place of love and help, okay.
Well, and I think you're less likely to be rejected by people you know.
Right.
I
But
mean, I get it.
I want to remind people too, when Diane calls, how many people is she calling? She has 100 people that she's boiled it down to. 100 people. And so you think about that. I've got 1,300 friends on Facebook right now. They are not all my friends. And not that I don't like those people or whatever, but they're not the 100 that I could call right now and say, hey, do you know somebody? I need someone else I can help. And you know me, I would help them with all my effort. And so sometimes I think we have that big group that we see and we're like, where do I start? Probably need to start with narrowing that group down to those people that you feel comfortable asking.
Mm-hmm.
And do you call them once a month then? That's a once a month call to that person.
However,
Or some touch within a month.
pretty much, or every other month. But it's 5 a day, whatever 5 a day looks like. Then, and I might talk to the same person 2 weeks in a row because I need to, and then somebody I don't talk to for 2 months. But they all get touched. And we are not doing anything else. We're not doing any mailers or we're not doing anything. We're just talking to people and selling houses. It's that simple.
The one I share with people all the time in a prospecting thing, and it's the easy one, Facebook reminds you almost every day, as is a birthdays. And so when their birthday comes up, if you take the time to send them a personal message on Facebook Messenger, you're different than every other person that posted on their wall. Lucas Howard, he goes one step further and he calls you and he'll sing to you. So it's like whoever those special people are, make sure that you take that extra step. Jacqueline.
So, yes, Diane. I liked what you said about when you kind of lost touch with these people and you're calling them and just saying, hey, I'm sorry, I've lost touch. I am super guilty of that. So my past life was web design and internet marketing, and I built a huge SOI list. I mean, these business owners loved me. They didn't want to see my boss come in. They wanted to see me come in. And I have a really good relationship with a lot of the people that I do keep in touch with. So I guess my question to you is, what does that script look like when you're calling these people you may have not talked to in a couple years, or you haven't talked to in a year or something like that? What does that look like to you? Because I need help kind of reconnecting with these people like, hey, I know it's been so long. This is what I'm doing. And I did do that when I left the company because I went right into real estate. I sent them handwritten notes that said, hey, I'm going into real estate, but then it kind of dropped off getting busy with licensing and, just business and life. So what does that look like to you, like when you're having that conversation?
That's exactly what you just said. It's just a really transparent conversation. So with what you just described, you could say, I know I reached out to you when I first got into real estate because I was so excited about this. And what I've realized now is that I haven't done a good job of keeping in touch with you on a regular basis. And that's totally on me. And I just want you to know I'm sorry I haven't. And it doesn't mean I don't care or I haven't thought about you. I just hadn't figured out yet a process in order to be sure I was doing all the things I needed to do for the people who are important to me. I'm getting that figured out now. It's not perfect, but one of the things I wanted to do was just reach out and apologize that it's been a while since you've heard from me.
Can you
Right?
write that down and email it to me?
And me.
Recorded. It's recorded. You can.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah, I struggle with that. And I do have people that I've connected with, and I try to be good with commenting on Facebook and keeping in touch on Facebook, but life, just like everyone else, gets busy. And I feel like I
overthink it though.
Yeah, and I hate when I see on Facebook that somebody that I know bought a house.
Oh,
Yeah. Me, I'm like,
yeah. Or your next neighbor. Yeah,
I'm like, no, you bought a house with who? Some agent you found on Zillow? No.
Yeah, some open house you walked into, right? Yeah, they don't know. And in that particular conversation, I don't ask for business. I wanted to reconnect. I promise you'll hear from me soon. And then prove yourself by being sure you follow up soon. Yeah. And then
you're kind of building up to that.
Rebuilding the trust.
How many of you would not feel somewhat honored if someone you worked with 5-10 years ago called you up out of the blue and just said, hey, I just recently thought of you again. I'm sorry I've gotten busy with life, but how are you? How are things going? I mean, I'm going to be touched by that. I don't care who that person is. I'm going to be like, oh, they like me, And so
that's exactly what I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
I do that with her, so I love that you brought that up. It's just simple as that. Like, hey, life happens, but I've been thinking about you so much. I decided today to just pick up the phone. How are you? Just simple as that.
Yeah. And and they might say, how are you? And you can, then you could say, great. And, I'm happy. Life is good. Business is booming. I'm feeling really proud. Thanks for asking. Stop. Right. It's not then like, how can I, now that we're talking, how can you help me? Like, no, it's not about them helping you. It will be more impactful not to ask for the business in that dialogue.
And it will come down the road. It doesn't always have to be right now, but like we said before, you have those conversations. Ask them what's new in their life. They start telling you about what's going on there. And they'll remember that, oh, yeah, I just talked to them. I think the stat I've heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, everybody, is that it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks that you stay top of mind when somebody sees you or has a conversation with you, that you stay top of mind for 2 weeks. And then the next person can leapfrog you after that because they had the conversation that they're a real estate agent. So
I think your friends have better memory than mine. The older we get, and it's like, I'm like, top of mind. If I stay top of mind for the next 24 hours, we're good.
Yeah.
I'd love to think they remember me for 2 weeks. It'd be awesome. Because when it's the reverse, I'm like, I see them, I'm excited to see them, but then they're gone. I like have to decide if I add them to my list.
Well, Tanya and Diane, I want to respect your guys' time. And if you need to leave for something, by all means, we're after the 12 o'clock time. So if you guys have a little bit more time for more questions, I want to keep it open. But if you don't, I want to respect your time.
Yeah. I have a few more minutes if you guys have any other questions. And then I'm time blocked for my follow-up Friday to get in touch with my 5 people and all the people on my pipeline.
Nice. What other questions?
Well, I try to call between 8 and noon. Sometimes lately it's been 9 and noon. It doesn't sound like Diane. I don't know, Tanya, I mentioned that you don't do that.
I set up 10 to 2. It's on my calendar every day, but honestly, other things get in the way. So like I said, I know that's not the right habit to say 10 to 12. I whittled it down to say you make your 10, really for me, it's 10 to 20 contacts a day, however you need to do that.
I have a big commute now too. So I'm driving from Grant all the way into Grand Rapids and Grand Rapids back to Grant. And so it's a good 35, 40 minutes. It's an easy place for me to connect with at least 3 people I haven't talked to, at least 3, if I get them on the phone. And so that's one of the things I'm trying to do, is be more systematic in putting those numbers somewhere where with my smartphone, I can just touch on the number and it can dial.
Yeah.
I do it whenever, it depends on the day, but I do have it time blocked. But most of the time for me, it's early morning. I'm a really early riser. So I just look at my list, I pick my 5 people, and I get the messages lined up, whether it's a text or then I put in my calendar to call so-and-so versus text, or, and then I just make all the texts or repeat that, whatever it is, or I see it's people's birthday on Facebook or whatever. I just look for the people who I'm going to be connecting with and get them all lined up. And then once it hits, well, I try to wait until 8, but I'm not that patient. So usually, poor Tanya knows, I'm like, here she comes again, 7:30, 7:45, that damn. But so I get them all lined up, and then I hit send once it gets to a better hour, and almost always they reply, right? And they're gonna be, for me, they're people that are in my sphere tend to be business owners, and they're up early and they're doing things. So I'm more likely going to catch them in some way early morning than late at night. But my follow-up on Fridays, it's usually 9 to 12, but I interviewed a new MCA in England this morning, and then we had this. So I just scooted it in my calendar so that I didn't lose it, but it moves around. I have some things that I'm super strict about, and those things are non-negotiable, but I found that if I got too strict with calling these 5 people, that if I was so strict and then I missed it, that I wasn't replacing it. So now it's each day it could be at a different time, and I have allowed enough time in my schedule to move that within a day if need be. So
do you feel that you get more people in the morning opposed to any other time?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why
I
I do
also do it on the weekends, because people just tend to be around on the weekends more. So if I feel like I wasn't getting enough people during the week, I'll do it on a Saturday morning. I feel like almost everybody has Saturday morning. And now even with like kids playing sports again, we all love our kids, but when you're at those damn games for hours, it's nice to be able to like send a message and connect with somebody, you don't want to miss any good moves, I understand, but there's plenty of downtime, has been my experience.
The other thing too that we have to remember in this age of telephones and things is we have these wonderful smartphones. And so 9 out of 10 times I can see who it is that's calling me. And if I see it and it's somebody I want to talk to, I'm going to pick it up at that time. If I can't, I'm just going to let it go to voicemail. And so don't feel like you're bothering somebody. And if they call me 2 or 3 times, I know it's urgent. Like my wife's calling me for the 2nd time right now. So I probably should grab it in a little bit. But then it's important and they need to get a hold of you. So I think we beat ourselves up sometimes that we're reaching out too many times to people when we're not.
And you can always say that, hey, if you feel like I'm reaching to you too many times, just tell me. Yep. My objective is to be attentive and available. This is how I like to do it, but if it's not your style, tell me what is. Right? Just ask.
And I love that you've got it boiled down to 100 in that simplification that Diane talked about. And that's one of my first priorities coming out of this, is to really figure out, okay, who are those people that I know no matter what, if I call them, they're going to be happy I called them. Mm-hmm. So
it's called the Dream 100, right?
Yep.
Sure.
It is now.
It is now.
The mornings are more effective too, Trish, to answer your question.
I didn't hear you, Tanya.
I find the mornings more productive as well for making those connections.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. It was really
you're welcome.
Great.
Yes, thank you guys. I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you.
When we can go to events again, that's a great one too. I mean, it's easy to find 5 people to talk to at an event.
Yeah, my social butterflyness has been like feeling locked in a cage.
You feel like you're a caterpillar right now?
Right. I'm like, well, because when I say my past life, because it was kind of a chapter that I've closed. And when I was working at that web design company, it was 3 appointments a day, 1-to-1s, if not meeting with new businesses. It was 3 networkings a week. I mean, it was out talking to people, and that's what I'm good at. And now I can do it for myself. So what is wrong with me?
But it's
You
getting that
can.
once you get that habit in place of doing whatever it is, then it becomes automatic and you don't have to think about it. So Diane's in a habit right now of looking at this email she gets from Kendall and trying to cross everything off that list. And if she can do that, she feels like that's a successful day, whether she takes business or not. Business is the result of doing what she knows she needs to do. And so it comes down to us finding, what is it? Is it 5 phone calls for us? Is it 2? Is it more
Is it
than
open houses? Is it, I mean,
could be.
whatever it is that will get you the business. The thing that's fun about getting it so simple and having it feel like it's an easy thing to do each day, not like, oh, I got to do that, is that it really does change your energy toward your clients. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's been, I said to Kendall when I got back into selling real estate last month, I said, I looked at her and I was like, actually, it turns out I'm pretty good at this. And she's laughing. She's like, uh-huh. But I just hadn't, it's energizing when you do something and you're good at it, right? And so I'm like, actually, I'm not so bad. I can do this. And that builds, right? You got to get the ball rolling in the right direction.
Yeah.
Been 2 months already, Diane.
2 months. I know. I love it.
Start back in on a pandemic again, right? So
I
you
know.
guys are awesome. I'm going to go ahead and end this call, but I really, really appreciate your time, Diane. Really appreciate yours, Tanya, and everybody else that's come in and participated.
Yeah, thank you.
This is being recorded. Chanel's got a copy of it. So if there's something you missed and you want to go back and listen to it, we will. And we'll see if she can't post it on the Facebook page too, so anybody else that missed it wants to. But I think there's been great information. I took notes. I've got some wonderful things I'm going to work on. So
Definitely.
all right, everyone have a great weekend.
I have one thing to say.
Yeah.
I want a Kindle. And I don't mean a book.
I know. We hired her right out of college, and she was a daughter of a friend, and she came in just doing general kind of admin-y things and has flourished. She's actually the CFO for my Daisy Worldwide is my international holding company that has, and so she's actually learned all of that too. Like she manages all of the money, she's learned and grown so much, and she pushes me constantly. You're right. Everybody should have a Kindle, but you got to find your own. Sorry.
And there you go, Trish. You wanted a reason to call. There's your reason. Hey, I'm looking for somebody to assist me with
very organized, unlike me.
Exactly. And all of a sudden, oh my gosh, my daughter's looking for this job, or this friend of mine would be awesome at that. And the next thing you know, you've got somebody that you love working with for how many years, Diane?
7.
7 years.
And she's just turned, she's 29 and a half. So she'll be 30 in February. So that's a long time for somebody at that age.
We all love Kendall. When you said you were changing your team and stuff, I saw her in the hallway. I'm like, please tell me you're not leaving, Kendall. Please tell me. And she's like, no, I'm staying. So that's awesome.
Well, and one of the cool things is helping her live her life is she's like, I just feel like it's time for me to go adventure. And I was like, it is, you should do that. And she's like, well, how can I do that? I'm like, we can absolutely 100% keep working in the way we're doing, and you can be wherever you want in the world. We'll make it work. And she's just like, are you serious? And I said, yeah. So we sold her condo and she left a week ago, and she's gone for 4 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's on the road. She's doing her thing. We communicate. She works full time. I just got my list of things to do early. I get it usually by 8, sometimes 7:30 in the morning. So I can give her what she needs. So when life starts, she can go and do her list. I can do mine. But yeah, she's traveling around and she's doing the thing, and she's on top of the world. And I think, well, how cool is that? You should be able to go travel for 4 months and
that's
still
awesome.
have a great job.
And maybe she wouldn't have done that had she not had this, not even this job, but this relationship with you, to encourage her to do that. So.
Never. She hadn't been out of the country until I took her. So, I took her not only to England, but I took her to Ireland and to Scotland and to Prague and to Portugal. And she's just you know, I mean, she's seen it. She has a bigger vision of what is out there than she did when I met her, for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, she deserves it. She's amazing.
I know somebody who's looking for an opportunity,
Ooh.
and I'm going to send you her resume, but she's got a marketing and graphic design background, so she can even help you with that stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Send it to me too, please.
We're looking for a marketing director.
Are you?
Yes.
Glad you-
I want her.
I don't,
You can share
I
her.
don't want
That's
anyone.
right. That's right. But you know, we don't have enough of these conversations. We say wants and needs on our Facebook
Yeah,
page,
right.
and we don't always put out there that, hey, we're looking for these people too.
Yeah.
So, all right. Out
All
of
right.
respect
This has
again
been
for
great.
everybody's time, thank you. I'm going to end it for real now. Okay.
Okay.